Good evening. Today we're going to work on percents of a whole number. So let's get right after it. We're going to solve each of these problems using a proportion, and we're going to begin by making a ratio table. We've done a little bit with ratio tables before, and we're going to continue using them. I think they're a nice way to organize proportions. So here we go. Mariah has read 135 of the 180 pages in the book. What percent of the book has she read? Okay, so she's either read a page or she has not read a page out of the total number of pages. We're going to write these as percents and as just simple counts of pages. Okay, so here's our table. She's either read a page or you haven't read a page. You can't do it halfway. You've either read the entire page or you haven't read the entire page. And then there's a total number of pages. We're going to put these in terms of percents, and we're going to put them in terms of number of pages, counts. Okay, well, the total percent is always 100. You can't read more than 100% of the book. Okay, they also give us some other information. She's read 135 pages. That would go under the count that she has read. Of the 180 pages in the book, that is the total number of pages in the book. So that'll go down here under total. And then what percent of the book has she read? That's this part up here. Okay, so we do not need the not read column. Here's how we're going to write our proportion. X over 100 equals 135 over 180. We are just ignoring this row right here. And then we'll solve that using cross products. 180 times x equals 100 times 135. And divide both sides by 180. We'll get 75%. That's how much, that's the percent that she has read. Remember, you need that percent sign. It's not that she's read 75 pages. She's read 135 pages. She's read 75% of the pages. Let's do this again. McGregor is growing alfalfa on 180 acres, which is 30% of his farmland. McGregor has how many acres of farmland? This is a little bit different, but we can still use this ratio table. He either grows alfalfa or he doesn't grow alfalfa on parts of his farmland. And then he's got a total. Okay, we're going to put this in terms of percents and a count. Here's our table. Looks like a big tic-tac-toe board here. Okay, the percent total is always going to be 100. That's a given. Always, always, always. You put it in before you even start looking at your problem. Okay, he's growing alfalfa on 180 acres. That is a count of the number of acres that he is growing alfalfa on. Okay, 180 acres he's growing alfalfa on, and let's say that which is 30% of his farmland. So this 180 acres is 30%. That's the part that he's growing alfalfa on. Okay, they're asking us how many acres of farmland he has. Okay, so we're trying to figure out the total number of acres he has. So last time we knew the total number of pages in the book, we were trying to figure out the percent. This time we know the percent, we're trying to figure out the total number of pages. So that's a proportion. Again, we're not using this column. 30 over 100 equals 180 over x. Cross products, 30x equals 100 times 180. Divide both sides by 30. 18,000 divided by 30 is 600, and that is 600 acres of land that he has. Here we go again. The frequency of the letter E in written English is about 13%. On a page of a novel that has about 2,000 letters per page, about how many occurrences of the letter E can we expect to find? Okay, let's set up our ratio table. A letter is either an E or it's not an E. And then we've got a total number of letters. We're going to do this as a percent and as a count. So there's our ratio table. Now, what have they given us here? Well, first of all, we know the total of letters that are E and not letters that are not E is going to be 100% of the letters. First thing we know is that 13% of letters on a page are E's, about 13%. Second thing we know is that on this one page we're looking at, there are 2,000 letters. Okay, and what are we trying to find? That's all we need to know. How many occurrences of the letter E can we expect to find? Okay, so that is this segment right here. So one more time, we are not using this middle column right now. We're going to use it eventually, just not yet, okay? So 13 over 100 equals x over 2,000. 13% is what amount of 2,000? Do cross products, divide both sides by 100. You don't need a calculator for that. It's 260 E's on a page of 2,000 letters. 260 of the letters are going to be E's. And one last problem today. The Springfield Sluggers won 64% of their games and lost 9 games. How many games did the Sluggers win? Okay, very quick and easy setup here. You can either win a game or you can lose a game. That's going to give you your total number of games. We're going to put that in terms of percent and the number of games they won, lost, and played. Okay, they won 64% out of 100%. They lost 9 games. That's down here. That's the count of the games they lost. Okay, so we are going to use that middle column, perhaps. How many games did the Sluggers win? So we're trying to figure out the number of games they won. Okay. So here's what we're working with here. We don't have any proportion set up yet. There's one little piece of information we have to figure out. And that is that they lost 36% of their games. Okay? If they won 64, they must have lost 36% of their games, because that's the only way you can add up to 100. There's nothing else besides winning or losing. I guess there's tying, but we're going to assume that there's no ties. So 100 minus 64 is 36. Now we've got what we can use here. We're going to use this right here. We're not going to use this bottom column. So 64 over 36 equals x over 9. 36 times x is 36x. Oh, you know what? I solved this one using inspection. I'll explain. 9 times 4 is 36, or 36 divided by 4 is 9. 64 divided by 4 is 16. So they must have won 16 games. So they won 16 out of their 25 games, which is 64%. That's all I've got for you today. Have a great night.